So this is just me creating a brand new scene in OBS, something similar to my Bitmoji classroom. Now, if I didn't want to do that much work, and I kind of like, where my screen is at, I kind of like where I'm at. Maybe going to change around the posters a little bit, but I want to keep this Bitmoji classroom for later use. I can click the duplicate button and just call it Bitmoji Classroom 2. And now if I switch over to Bitmoji Classroom 2, it's still there. And I can start taking out pieces. Now if I'm going to start from scratch, then let's go Bitmoji. And I know these aren't Bitmojis, it's just this is where I got the idea from. And then October. So I have some October stuff in here. And we're starting off with basically a blank canvas. So over here in my sources, I can go ahead and click add, and then the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to put my video capture device. I already have an existing one. I don't want to create another, so I'm just going to create that one. It's going to have me super large, and I just need to resize here. This is kind of why I like creating a duplicate of the Bitmoji classroom, because it's already at the size I like, the position I want it in. So I'm going to add something else here. Now I want to add in, let's say, an image of some kind. Now I already have a lot of images in OBS, so I'm going to add an existing one. I personally like my desk, so I'm going to add in this desk PNG. And again, this is why I would create a duplicate, because this one is super large. And I have to spend time resizing. And I'm looking up because this is where my second screen is at. And so now I'm spending time kind of positioning my desk, and then I kind of got to reposition myself a little bit right around there. Okay. Then if I want my screen back, and I'm going to put this up so you can see it, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a display capture. So I am looking at my first monitor, but I'm going to add in my second monitor. And this is what I'm looking at over in Google right now. So I'm going to put in a background. Now, of course, this is covering me up because this is layers. So if I bring it here, it's going to be behind the desk, but in front of me. And if I bring it to the bottom, now it's behind these first two layers. And I'm just going to resize here a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to find basically a black wall for Halloween, kind of Halloween themed. So you really just go in and you Google empty black room and you try to find something that's kind of cool looking. Like, I can go with this. You might want something with a floor on the bottom. Try to stay away from things that are curved like this. People ask, like, is there like a certain size? Not really. You kind of just play around with it. This is kind of creepy, but kind of the wrong size. So you just, kind of look around. I don't know, maybe this one we can try it. So I'm gonna save the image. I'm just gonna put it in my downloads here. And next up, I will come back to OBS and I will add a new image. And I'm going to call this Spooky Room. And I want to browse for the image. So I'm going to go look at my downloads because that's where I left it. Dark room. Okay. Look at it. Okay. Looks good. I'm going to say okay. Now, of course, this is putting it on top of everything. So I'm going to resize it. But now I'm going to put it at the very back. And now if I resize my second monitor, well, there I am. Now I'm in a spooky room. And you can, reposition it and play with it if you want. Something like that. And you can just start adding other pieces. So I'm going to add in some, Halloween decorations. And you kind of might want, like I might want to fix the desk because my arm is kind of here floating off desk. So I might want to, drag it over or make it a little bit longer or something. So, if I extend my hand out, it doesn't look like it's like oddly floating somewhere. So I decided to change my wall background. Found this slightly creepier one. For walls, if it has a roof on it, if you just Google blank or empty blue room, empty red room, just empty room, ton of these on Google, but you want to make sure it has a little bit of floor. So I put a little bit of floor in there, and you can't see the ceiling because for some reason it just makes the room look smaller when it has a ceiling. So I just make sure it has a little bit of flooring there. Now, what happens if I want to bring an image in? You could just Google whatever image you want to put in. I recommend that in Google you pick transparent. That way it doesn't have any background. Once you find one, you'll pretty much know it's transparent because it has this little checkered background. You could just right-click, save image as, and then just put it into your download folder. And once you're done, you come back over here, you hit plus, and then you're going to want to insert an image. And in this case, I'm just going to call this pumpkin. And then it's going to ask me to look for it, and it's in my download folder. It's the one I want. Obviously way too large, so you just take it, you resize it. And this little guy I'm going to put here on my shelf, like so. Just resize it to wherever you want. Now, unfortunately, for OBS, Control Z, Control, like the undo short key doesn't work. There is no real undo button here. You can copy and paste things from other scenes, but if you mess up, if you accidentally delete something, you got to do it all over again. So just be a little bit careful. One of the big headaches with OBS. So next up, I just put this PNG here. Luckily, Control C, Control V works. It just lays them right on top of each other. And so I'm just going to give my desk this cool little like a wallpapery thing that I found. So there's also other ways to add images if you just have your download folder. You can just take images, drag and drop them, and then you can resize them if you wish. Weird little Halloween tree thing over here. So GIF images also work. I don't know if that puts more strain on Zoom. It's something that I would have to try and ask my students about. I will say one of the cool things about this is this pumpkin GIF right here that is already part of my scene. If I find something different, like I kind of like these weird little like Christmas light, looking GIF thing. If I go save image as, but I save it as the old. Now I'm going to lose the old one, but you'll see this happen real time where I'm going to say yes, go ahead and replace it, and it's going to go ahead and replace it in OBS. So like that old one that I had gets instantly replaced with this one right there. So I think that's kind of a cool little time saver. So I added a couple other little things here. It's just something to spice up the class. Even if it doesn't look great, it's something different. One of the things I like to do as a warm-up with my students, I did it with my Bitmoji classroom. I will intentionally hide some of the items. And, well, not myself, but then I'll ask them to start naming them, like, what's missing out of the classroom, and see if they can get it, see if they can remember, all the little pieces that were there. So just, something fun you can do with OBS.